Hello, it's Jay from Street Awakening. Here we are in Canberra, another cold morning, full on winter mode. Today I would like to talk to you about Taoist view on the relationship between humans and the universe. So over the past month I've been working in an organic farm and I really had a better understanding of what Tao is, which is the fundamental idea of Taoist philosophy. In Tao Te Ching, one of the ancient Chinese classical texts representing what Tao is, reads, the first line reads, 道可道, 非常道 in Chinese, which translated to English means the Tao that can be described to, or spoken to, or communicated to, is not the actual Tao. It's not the internal Tao. So Tao is something very hard to understand and grasp, but we can think about it as the underlying force that is making everything to happen. That is the force which manifests everything we experience that we call reality. In some ways, it is very similar to Indian philosophy of Dharma, which I spoke to you about in the last video. If you missed it, you can check out here in the cards. As human beings, we tend to take a lot of credit for ourselves and neglect the things done by the Tao, which is the underlying force of everything. So in the farm, especially when we are organic farm, we have to do a lot of things by hand. For example, we need to take out the weeds in the garlic field. That's a tough job. 8 hours a day, you're taking out all the weeds, and just to help the garlic to grow better. But when you're not taking care of these garlics, who is taking care of the garlics for you? When you say, where are the food come from? You would say, it's the farmers. But hey, you only spend 8 hours a day taking care of the garlic, taking care of the food. But the other 16 hours of the day, who's taking care of the garlic for you? Who's taking care of this food? Who's growing this food for you? Who's making them to be on your table? It's the Tao. We often neglect and don't see this. And Taoist philosophy really help us to see through what's actually going on. Just as your parents bring you up since you are little, brought you up to the point where you are, at the same time, Tao also brought you up to where you are right now. And you very much so, you know, when your parents are gone, the Mother Nature will still nurturing you, keep your heart beating, keep you breathing. We, as the children of the Tao, just like fish living water, don't realize themselves living in the water. Once we can see that we are surrounded by Tao, then we can actually see what Tao is doing for us. It is actually expressing this unconditional love to everything equally. Water, performing this sacred job in keeping everything alive on this planet. But hey, at the same time, when you press that flush button and flush your shit down the toilet, water didn't complain. It's doing this dirtiest job in this earth. And it didn't say a word. That's why we should at least show some gratitude and appreciation. Just like you would thank parents and show gratitude towards your parents, we should also show some gratitude and appreciation towards what Tao is doing for us. As human beings, we live in the bubble of society, keeping us busy with all these important tasks we do, but we fail to realize and see that we actually being blessed and nurtured by the Tao. But hey, the very reason that I can make this video and you are watching this video at the same time, it's because of Tao. Or a more practical example, since we don't go to nature every day now, living in our society, but we still have food. We still eat food. Food is keeping us alive. And the reason why I'm standing here is because of the food I consumed from the past. But I feel nowadays people lost their intimate relationship to food. Hey, don't get me wrong, people still love food. And I think people still enjoy food, that's for sure. But we don't value food because food come to our table so easy. That's why we don't value food as much. We don't respect food as much, and we don't show enough gratitude to food as much. I would like to use food as an example to dig down this issue even further. But before that, let's have a look at what people have to say in the street of Sydney. So, my question is, how often do you guys cook? Just.
For me, I cook. If I got the ingredients, I cook quite often at home. Yeah, I like to cook actually.
That's great. Yeah.
So normally like 10 times per week.
10 times per week. Wow.
Like 2 times a day, like that.
So do you usually have food with people, or do you have it alone?
Well, I live alone, so I have it alone. Yeah.
Okay. Then when you're having food, do you actually having food, or do you doing something else and have food?
Oh, okay, that's a good question. Well, if the food is delicious, I will have it like peacefully, just eating food concentratedly. But if the food is okay, then I'll just watch a video while watching it. To pass time, yeah.
That's actually what I find. At least most people do. At least all people in my age and in our generations, people have food while doing something.
Yeah. Not really enjoying the food. Not really focusing on the food, the taste of the food. Yeah.
I've actually recently been working in a farm, and I found this practice of not concentrating on food is not very good, to be honest, to me at least. What do you think?
I agree with you.
Why is that?
Because while people watching the video, they only focusing on the video, and then they just keep eating until the dish is finished. So they not really enjoy the taste of the food, the dish.
That's one thing. The biggest reason why I don't like it and I don't promote that is because we forget to give gratitude to food. Because food is behind us. The very reason why we can sit here and have a conversation is because of all this food we ate. But we definitely forget about how there's something behind us, like giving this unconditional love and support to us.
The food that we're having.
Yeah. Now, I feel like that's another question actually. Like when I believe when we have food alone, it's just us with food. But when say there's two people having food, that's not just the same level. It's next level up. It's celebration. Yeah, and I think that's how food has been one of the biggest reasons why food bring people together as well. Like when we have something, when we have a social settings, usually a lot of times we usually have food together. But yeah.
Sebastian can explain that because he just had food with 3 other friends a few nights ago.
Yeah.
Do you feel much happier with having food with friends and then by yourself?
Of course, it depends. Sometimes you need to be alone, eat alone, but it's good to share, spend your time with your friend, and your girlfriend, if you have a girlfriend, or your family, you know. So, you know, for Christmas, what we do, we eat together. We don't go to the park, or it's good to eat together. And food, you know, me, for be honest, I love food, but I don't like cook. Fuck. So that's why I eat every time outside. So, but it's a good cooker. It's a good cooker.
I think cooking is another great way to express our gratitude to food.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jess?
I do believe that when I'm cooking the food, I actually see the changes of the food, and then after I finish cooking, I'll be enjoying the food more.
Yeah.
And then I wash the dishes, I do everything.
Wash? No, she lie.
But yeah, definitely. I feel we should definitely spend more time with food because, we now we can buy food everywhere, but in exchange of convenience, we sort of lost the value of the preciousness of food. Let's just say that. Yeah.
Like you can get Uber Eat anytime, and it's easily as long as you pay for them. So you don't really get grateful. You don't feel grateful when you're enjoyed having the food. Like that.
I think that's probably another reason how we sort of lost our relationship with food, because it's just so convenient to get food rather than back in the days we have to cook and even like plant the veggies and fruits ourselves, and then we'll have the food, and that's when everybody say, "Oh, thanks a lot for the food." But now people don't do that as much.
Yeah, because during the plants, and then they water the plants, and then they get the food. But then nowadays they just like some other people doing it for us. So yeah, just different generation.
Now after this conversation, would you treat food differently now, you guys?
I'll treat the food the same way because I love food. Every one of us love food.
I mean, in terms of gratitude, or like the way you see it, I guess, like how the value of food.
For be honest, no. For me, it's same. You know, I love food, but I'm same. You know, I love food, and that's it. Good. I love good food, but me, I love it. So me, I prefer quantity to good quality. So
really?
Yeah. But if I have the opportunity to eat good food, like
good
yesterday,
quality.
because we know a good cooker, it's very good. But me, McDonald's every day, it's good for me.
Okay.
But,
yeah, for me, I'll definitely change my view of the food, and then I always does that actually. Yeah, because I think a lot.
Yeah, that's good. It's good to think. If you stop thinking, you'll be like, I don't even know where you're gonna be. Traditionally, or even still now today, food is where it's like a medium to bring people together.
Yep.
What do you think?
Nah, yeah, I can see that. You know, with family and stuff, Mum always used to cook, and then always used to love it. But now that I'm like kind of living alone kind of thing, then it's just the easiest way to get food, rather than like, you know, going out, cooking, like buying ingredients, cooking it up yourself. Just easier to just go out and find something cheap.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what I want to see more in this world is more people feel really joyful while they having food, because without that we can't live, and I feel like people forget about that. That's kind of the reason why I'm sitting down here with people and see what they feel like about food. And yeah, would you agree on whether how we should develop a more intimate and more, or let's just say we should express gratitude more to food more consciously?
Yeah, expressing gratitude, but you know, each person expresses it in a different way.
Yes.
But yeah, like you said, food is life force kind of thing. If you don't eat, then you starve.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can agree with you on that.
Yeah. Cool. Now, would you do anything differently after this interview and look at food in a different way? Maybe when you just about to pick up your phone and having your meal at the same time, you thought of this conversation?
Maybe for like a couple of weeks, but then I'll probably fall back into the old habit.
But hey, that's really honest answer, first of all. But a habit, like you can develop a habit in like 28 days. Yeah.
I don't really understand that concept, like how do you disrespect food? So it's more like, but yeah, maybe we are like not giving importance to the act of it.
Like the reason why I'm saying disrespectful to food is because we sort of forget that the very reason we're living and healthy and we can experience whatever we can experience, and you have this wonderful Sunday afternoon in the park, it's because all this food you ate.
Yeah, it's true. Thanks to that.
But somehow just like we taking granted how we breathe air, and on the same time we taking granted that food is just given, and we sort of forget about that relationship with food.
So it's true. So it's like for us eating, it's so easy just to go to a place and just have a small thing to eat or just eat. But so that's true that we are could be that we are just not taking, how do you say? It's something so normal to have food that we are not respecting the act that how is behind to get that food, how is what is behind people working on the industry and so on to that. That's why it's so easy for us to have. That's true. Could be.
But yeah, I recently find how I was working in a farm recently, and that's why I found how precious food are, because we sort of separated ourselves to the true nature of where those food you have on your table, on your plates are coming from. And so, for example, I was just talking to another couple just then. They were saying you can just get Uber Eats and then it's so convenient. Like we sort of cut our relationship in between. Like cooking, for example, it's a great way to develop our relationship. A lot of people find cooking enjoyable. It's one reason is because the people they feed, but I also think this other reason is because you are preparing something for. You're expressing gratitude and doing something better with what you have. Yeah.
It's true. It's basically what I said, that you are forgetting what is behind the dish you're having in your table. It's true. It's like you are forgetting all the people just working on preparing that food or getting that product fresh for you to eat it. So it's true that I never seen it like that. So it's, as you said, it's so easy to get something for it that you are forgetting all the people that is behind. To make that so easy for you.
That's why I'm kind of reminding you.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate that. And it's true that, also how important, for example, is to be with someone and share a plate or a dish. Or,
yeah, definitely.
True. So
I always share my meal.
Yeah, no, of course. No, it's I think maybe I won't say that will change my life, but I will try to think in a different way. So knowing this kind of thing, so it's important also.
Yeah. It is all these little moments where you show gratitude, and then you can, from this little moments, you can transfer this mindset into a bigger part of your life.
When you cook, you mean?
Like showing gratitude to food.
Yeah.
So just like how you, for example, people go a great amount of deal of discipline themselves to. So for example, people do cold showers and like get up early and stuff like that to discipline themselves. But on the same side, on the same time, we can show gratitude to food more and then express our gratitude to this universe and to other human beings around us.
That's really deep. Well, never thought about that in terms of food, but it's true. It's true. I mean, I don't have anything to. I cannot say no to that. I mean, it's of course it's something important that we are just getting as granted, and we should show more respect to food comes from, and when we cook it, when we share a meal with someone. It's true.
Now you go home, gonna have dinner. You're gonna think of food differently.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know if that will last a lot of time because we usually, as you said,
get distracted.
Exactly. But maybe today I will try to remember this and try to. Well, why not? I mean, it's important. We live thanks to that, so it's important to. Yeah.
So there you go. Now the question remains: how do we rebuild our relationship to food, to the underlying force, or to the Tao? In Chinese philosophy, we have three distinctive parts. There is Tian, which is the heaven, and there's Di, which is the earth, and we have Ren, which is human beings. So human beings is actually standing in the middle of heaven and earth. So what we do actually plays a very big part. And I think in order to rebuild our relationship, food is a really good start. And we can start by cooking. I believe cooking is a very much ritualistic practice. What is a ritualistic practice? A ritualistic practice usually involves it happens in a certain place just for a particular purpose. It follows by a set of sequences, usually in a strict orders. It involves a lot of gestures, objects, and words. Now we look at cooking. We have a bench or a stovetop set aside just for a particular purpose. Then we have a set of sequence. You chopped up the food first, and then you put in a pot, and then you put on a stove. You wouldn't chop up food and put on the stove straight away before you put in a pot. And you have gestures, chopping, turning. You know you're not a master of turning when you can cook some good fried rice. And of course, words. When you express your gratitude, oh, this is so good. So cooking is very much a ritualistic practice. In the old times, traditionally speaking, we always have this ritualistic practice to show gratitude to the Mother Nature, to the Tao, to the universe. And we spend, especially in the old times, in shamanistic culture, we spend a great deal of energy, resources, and time to perform all these rituals. But now we don't cook as much. So if we can cook again and starting to get this ritualistic practice back again, so we show our gratitude in the first hand. We show the gratitude to the universe, and that I think is a healthy that's a healthy relationship between human being and universe.